You're now listening to the 1130 podcast. Enjoy the show.
I'm from the city, DC, that's where I'm from. 1130 podcast, Dre and Willsy is the one. Let's get it, yeah. Who with me? Let's get it, yeah. No, with me, yeah. I'm from the city, DC, that's where I'm from. Let's get it. 1130 podcast, Dre.
What it do, everybody, man? Y'all already know what it is, man. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the 1130 podcast. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Y'all already know, man. It's your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels. It's not 7:30. It's 11:30, man. It's time for the podcast show. You know what time it is. If you're new to the show and you haven't done so already, I don't know what you guys waiting for. Definitely hit that subscribe button down below here on the 1130 podcast YouTube channel. Like it, comment, share it. And also, don't forget to follow the 1130 podcast on all social media platforms. All right, man. The podcast show is back in session. Appreciate everyone tuning in to last week's part 1 episode that I had with Cliff White. Part 2 is definitely coming, but I appreciate everyone tuning in to the 1130 podcast show and everyone who tuned in to Beyond 1130 on 8 episodes, man. It was definitely a fun vibe from George, Brian, Harley, Helen, Gator, Chanel, you name it, man. I feel like I'm missing some people's names though, but I hate to start naming names and that's where I forget them. But as well as my guests, you know, who joined me along this season on Beyond 1130 on an episode. So it was wonderful having him on. And I thought, man, it'd be an awesome thing to bring him back on the 1130 podcast, man, here on the 1130 podcast show. So it's going to be great. I'm going to bring on my guy, Cal, man. Yes, he joined me on Beyond 1130. Share some amazing story. But, man, the podcast show is back, man. This is where we vibe out and share some inspiration to everyone that's out there, that's watching and listening and stuff. So I ain't going to waste no more time. I'm going to bring on my guy, man, Cal, man. How's it going?
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me on. Thanks for the invite.
Hey, no problem, man. No problem. I appreciate you coming on, man. And I was just saying that I had you on Beyond 1130 as well. And also, you know, Wrestle Talk, man. So it was a great vibe chatting with you. Thought I'd, hit you up before the season was coming back and invite you on this platform, man, and just chat, man. But yeah, you go by Cal. Your name is Cal.
Yeah.
Where you from?
I'm from Connecticut, Waterbury, Connecticut.
Okay, Connecticut. How's it up in there?
Like sometimes when I tell people I'm from Connecticut, they might have they have a look about them. I'm like, I'm not from the rich part of Connecticut. Let's just get that clear. I'm not from the rich part of Connecticut.
Okay. Yeah. I don't really, interact with a lot of people who from Connecticut. So when I was like, oh, Connecticut. That's interesting. A lot of people, I want to say, like you said, rich people and people who are sort of, retired, sort of, you hear about living, Connecticut or so. But hey, man, look I know it's a wonderful day. The sun is definitely beaming on me, man.
It is beaming on me right now, bro.
It's all cool, man. It's definitely all cool. It's definitely sunny here. I had to close the blinds too, so I ain't want it, messing up. But Cal, man, I appreciate you once again taking the invite. I allowed to, have my guests, have the floor and tell everyone about yourself.
Well, in a nutshell, I'm a dude from Waterbury, Connecticut, who has had his own, the trials and tribulations living with a disability. Aside from that, I've been a freelancer for the past few years and just come from a creative family. I gotta say, but aside from that, I'm just a regular dude, really, just a regular nerd.
Say I'm a regular dude, man. I'm not all of that, man. I'm just a regular dude. Hey, that's what's up. You say you're a freelancer, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How did that begin for you? You tell people who may not know what a freelancer is.
Okay, so basically, I provide. What I do is I'm an audio video freelancer. So if you need someone to help you out with your podcast or editing your videos and things like that, I basically work from myself. So that is, so that is the thing. We negotiate on price. I tell you what I can do. I show you my work. And really, I've only been doing it for about going on 3 years professionally. But before it was a hobby, before it was more of a hobby. I had a regular job, and I was doing like podcasting and stuff on the side and helping people out and with other projects. And they'd be like, okay, so how much you charge? And I'm like, charge for what? That was my attitude. I didn't think I was good enough to start charging anybody. I just did it so much work for free at the time.
Okay. What made you wanted to go professional? Was it people asking you how much did you charge and stuff, or you decided to just let's just basically you wanted to work for yourself?
Yeah, it was a combination. It was a combination of things. Some things had happened, good things in my life that gave me the opportunity to be able to do this, regularly. You know what I'm saying? So it's very, so that's what it was. Plus I wanted to, I always wanted to work for myself. I have no problem working for other people, but my thing was like, I love being creative. I love having a space where I can do my, I consider this my art. I'm not the best at it, but I'm constantly learning and able to really get a feel for what people want visually and audibly and stuff like that. Just having fun. And and also I got bills to pay, so that's another thing.
I got you, man. People said, man, hey man, how much you charge? You said, for what, man? You didn't think your stuff was worthy enough for people to actually?
At first I did not. For years, my family was saying, like my cousin, one of my cousins were the first to say, hey, I'm trying to start a YouTube video and start a YouTube channel. How much you charge for that? Right? I'm like, what you mean? Like I could help you start. I could help you start the channel. No problem. But they're like, look, you're giving me your time. So what are you? What do you charge? I'm like, don't worry about it. Next thing you know, my mom, who also has her own podcast and stuff, I helped her start her podcast and things, and she was so nervous about it. But she looked at me and she's like, look up how much someone that's doing what you're doing usually would get paid and charge me. She told me to charge her. I'm like, but you're my mom, like you're my mom. She's like, look, we both got to get out of our own way. Because at the time that I was thinking about doing this, she also had, her other business that she's doing. She's a health coach. Right. And while she always loved helping people, doing like talks and stuff and charging people, it was always like you're always fighting with yourself because you don't want to undercharge, you don't want to overcharge, and you want people to come back,
Hey man, you're right. I like the ambition, man, and the drive. Also, that entrepreneur mindset. You don't mind working for no one else, but I think it feels better when you could just answer to yourself or just do whatever you could want to do and be creative. Like you said though. So I think that's a wonderful deal. What's the name of your mom podcast?
So one of them is called so her first one was called Back to Earth with New Path Wellness Group, right? That is her primary health business. And the second one is called Tea and Cornbread, aka You're 50 Now What? A conversation with Sean and Tracy.
Okay. I dig it. Shout out to moms though. Keep doing it. Keep definitely doing it. And you, my guy, man, for definitely giving your time up, man, and just doing stuff that you love and being creative though. You also spoke about your trials and tribulations of a life then having a disability. And on the episode of Beyond 1130, which I had you on, appreciate you for coming on. When the season definitely comes back, I'd love to have you back on again. But yeah, you talked about a little bit of those trials and a little bit of tribulations. I'm a guy, excuse me, a guy too who been in a wheelchair. I've been in a wheelchair since I was 13 because I have a disability where my muscles in my legs had was getting weak in my legs, and I was started to fall. It started to fall, so I started to use a wheelchair. But I also, have the disability I have also affect the muscles in my hands. So I remember those changes. Especially the change in my hands happened maybe, I want to say, 8, 9, around that age. So I remember that happening, and my legs definitely keep falling and stuff like that, and remember those changes and those tribulations and trials that I had to go through. How was that for you? Because I know you spoke about how you have CP, right? Cerebral palsy.
Yeah. I was diagnosed after birth. And at the time, they didn't think I would walk. The way my mom frames it, the way she talks about it, it was traumatic for her having me. And the thing was, at the time, she was young when she had me, so she didn't know what her rights were. And she said that when I was about to be, the day I was about to be born, I was premature. Right? They were expecting me in July. I was born in June. And when they were checking for, like brain waves and breathing and stuff like that. And I guess they had like something in my head, like an electrode or something in my head, and they pulled it out, and I jumped, and I was still, I wasn't 100% ready yet, but according to, this is just what I heard. I didn't know that they basically counted me out from day one. They're like, oh, he may not walk. He may have problems mentally. He may have like problems talking. He might have, and all of those are valid, I have to say. But dang, you're gonna tell her that right off the bat? You don't even know. Just wait until I come out and see what happens first. But anyway, so fast forward to years. I went through the school system. They thought that I was gonna have any kind of problem. They were prepared for somebody with more issues than I actually do have. You know what I'm saying? And when they figured out, oh yeah, wait, he can walk, he can do a lot of stuff for for himself. Some people were, till this day, were still kind of shocked, right? And because there are other cases of cerebral palsy where it does affect your entire body. You know what I'm saying? There are cases where it does affect your speech. But my family never, my family never treated me like I had a problem or anything. It's not a problem. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's just a difference. They wanted me to feel like any other kid. Right? So that's but no. Yep.
And I don't want to cut you off. I don't want to cut you off. But did you feel like a normal kid, although that your parents didn't want to make you feel different? It was just that you just have some differences, because that was the same way for me, my mom, sisters, and brothers. Man, it was just like, okay, well, that's Dre. I mean, yeah, he in a wheelchair, but I mean, they didn't look at me more so how the public eye did.
Yeah, did I feel like a normal kid? That's what you're asking. To be honest, no. To be honest, no. Certain aspects of me felt normal, but I was too preoccupied with the world. Right? My family, it was just me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I needed help with certain things or whatever, but other than that, they let me run. My mom wanted me to run around. She wanted me to get hurt. She wanted me to, experience, just life, like every other kid does. I just wanted to stay inside and watch cartoons. But when I'm in school, I would get the, why does he walk like that? I would get the, like, why does he walk like that? Are you okay? Are you okay? Some people would call me stuff like retarded, stuff, stuff like that, right? And then I realized it wasn't even just my peers. It wasn't even just the people I was going to school with. It was the adults too. And they're out here telling their kids, don't stare, don't ask questions, don't do that. I'm like, wait, why not? Why not? You want to know? You want to know about me? Just ask. You know, it's
I feel the same way, man. Definitely. And when I was a little younger, and I would definitely get angry, when people, and not, out. I would just get angry inside, but
Mhm.
people would just stare, and I'm just like, hey, man, if you want to ask, or just ask though. And I found, I learned that, kids gonna stare, kids who, just don't know, or just be,
Yeah.
so curious, they don't know. So sometimes I'll be funny with them and make funny faces back or whatever like that. But that's just that. You just gotta take it. Take the punches how it is. So you talk about you uh didn't feel like everyone else, and you had people call you certain names though.
Right.
How did you go about that? Because obviously, you got bullying now, and because I remember, why you walk like that, and why your hands are like that, and I just be
Mhm.
like, well, I mean, it's none of your business. You get those. Well, damn. I wish I was normal. I wish I was like everyone else. How was that for you?
Man, that was a regular thought in my head. That was almost an everyday thing because I was as bad as people were to me, or at least my perception of them. I was worse to myself because I took everything they were saying and I took it to heart. And at one point, um, when I when I was going to school originally, I was in the public school system, right?
Hmm.
And then around third grade, my mother put me in the private school system, right? So on a scholastic level, it was better for me, but socially, it was crippling, right? Because up until I got there were not too many people with a disability in the school I was going to, right? The public school system, I saw them every day, right? I saw people in walkers. I saw people with wheelchairs. I saw people, and I've had a combination of that. I've had leg braces, wheelchair walkers,
Hmm.
neomobilizers. I've had a lot, but I had a lot of friends who could relate. Once I got to the private school system, they couldn't relate, right? So it felt like sometimes they were just trying to do their best to just like, oh, here's Kyle, he's got, he's differently abled or whatever, let's just treat him somewhat, you know kind of like
Special.
with kid gloves sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even at the public school system, they would do that. Like they would put me in a wheelchair during field trips
Hmm.
just so I'd keep up with the rest of the class. I'd have to stand in line. When I stood in line, they always put me up first. Now, part of me thinks that might have been because my last name is Barboza, maybe everything is in alphabetical order, but I had to hold the teacher's hand every time, right?
Oh wow.
But once I got to when I got to private school, yeah, that still happened, but you still had those kids who just thought I was weird. And I'm not gonna say I didn't give them a reason to, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey,
Mhm.
I hear music in my head, and like stuff like that. That was me, but it I will say it got better as I got older, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
And I definitely want to ask you. I definitely want to ask you on that. And I think that's I don't want to excuse me. I don't want to speak for everyone, but
Yep.
most people that I know, such as yourself, and other people who grew up with a disability, it seems though as they got older, either they just, like you said, got better as time went on, or just
Yep.
learned how to accept yourself. Because for a while, man, like, although yes, I went to public schools, and every school I went to was somebody in a wheelchair, so you could kind of like, or I caught the school bus, so you can kind of like more so relate to these individuals than the other ones. And then when you do see other people, they go like, hey man, yeah, you're different, but they gotta treat you a certain way. But you're like, man, I just wanted to be treated normal, man. Just treat me normal, and it's not like I'm really different. I mean, I'm just disabled, and you walking. So I mean, everything else is cool. So
That's
I
it.
yeah, I definitely agree on with you on that part, man. You said it got better as time went on, though.
Yeah.
How did you get? How was that time? How was it? For you getting better and accepting the fact that you have a disability, although people may look at you, differently.
You know what happened was because it wasn't hard for me making friends. I will say that, right? By the time I got to high school was when I actually did have a social life, right?
Mm,
Like a couple of my homeboys and my homegirls, we're still family till this day, and they never treated me any differently. After a while, it's like, okay, yeah. They obviously if I have an issue or whatever, they help me, but it never hinders the friendship. you know
mm,
it never hinders the friendship. And then we realized how many differences people actually have, not even just physically, because
mm,
eventually I realized something. Number one, there is no such thing as normal, right? Number two, everybody has something, whether it is physical, mental, emotional, everybody has something, right? So once you realize that, it got a lot easier for me to realize that, hey, I'm just me. Yeah, it does get to me sometimes when I realize that there is no cure for this, because I have been approached by people. A little sidebar. There are two instances in my life where one person thought I was faking my walk, right? Like they followed me outside of a store because they were about to berate me with some sort of like with curses or whatever, because they thought I was faking, trying to make fun of people, right? Until they realized, oh my God, he does walk like that. So they apologize, like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. I just have friends who have what you have, or something close to what you have, and I just thought you were making fun. I'm so sorry, sweetie, right? And it was an older lady, and I was like, no, it's fine. That was a first, right? But then but then I have instances where I'm at a 7-Eleven one night with my friends, right? And we're picking something up, and I get approached by a lady. She had to be not even that much older than me, right? And she says, God told me that he'll fix your leg.
mm.
And
Okay.
I know that she has good intentions, or at least thinks she has good intentions with that statement, but there's nothing to fix. There's nothing to fix, right?
Yeah.
That got to me for years. I was like, oh, some Jehovah's Witness came up to me and said, God told me they'll fix your leg. There's nothing to fix, right?
Man.
There's nothing.
Look here, look. We both, guys, who have disabilities, and I'm only laughing because this been my life.
You
This
can
has
relate. I
been.
know.
I can relate to you, and
Mhm.
I remember an incident where it was, or a situation where I was on the public, metro bus here in DC, and one guy wanted to pray over me, and he felt as though, man, like, I'm gonna pray over you, and you can get up out that chair, and you can walk, and
Oh,
like,
oh,
man,
oh.
like, it's gonna fix everything, man. And I'm just like, really, like, and far as like the women goes, though, I mean, crazy questions like, well, can you have sex, and well, if so, how do you do it, and I was like, well, you want to find out, well, this was way before, I'm in a relationship now, but I definitely remember that question. And or just people, or women, since we're talking about the women, or they're
Yeah.
try to necessarily flirt with you, but you're not. I see you flirting with me, but you kind of like trying to be like, I need help, like, let me do my thing, and more so like, oh, hey, how you doing, handsome? I see I can take care of you and everything like that. You in a
Mm,
wheelchair, you got people who
mm,
taking care. I'm like
mm.
that, man. I'm good. I'm good
Uh-uh.
because I pulled out some money to pay for my items here at the store. You nah, come
Yeah.
on, like, but I definitely get what you're saying, man. That'll definitely get to you for a while, and especially for me at times. I know when I was in my early 20s and I was trying to figure out life and just figure out what I do with things. And not only did I had a disability, I had eczema. So I had eczema on my arms and my
Mhm.
legs. So it was, it ain't nowhere near like it cleared up like I was when I was a little boy. So I was so like, damn, I got eczema and then
Yeah.
I got a disability. So it was like I was, sort of not necessarily. I'm gonna be honest, I'm sort of running away from myself. Although that I was given validations from my family and my loved
Mhm.
ones, and oh, you know how to do this, or you good on computers, and you know how to do this, and it was like great. But deep down inside, personally, you wanted to you wanted to feel good, basically, and
Yeah.
be accepted and feel proud of yourself in a way. And it wasn't until sort of I started podcasting before because of course I was a shy person. I didn't want to get up in front of a class and talk to nobody. And
Mm.
I did it one time, but and I felt like that was cool and maybe I'm supposed to do this and or whatever. But how did you how was that process for you? Were you a shy person or
I'm still a shy
you was
person.
still a shy person?
I am still a shy person. I can't even tell you how I'm in a relationship right now with someone who it matches my energy. I don't know how that happened, but she found me, right? So
Yeah.
I'm a I'm still to a certain extent a shy person. You know what I'm saying? But it also it also kind of helps me. But it also kind of makes me feel like okay, because sometimes I get that well you're Kyle, right?
Mm.
You're Kyle. And I'm not trying to come off as threatening, but it was like, wait a minute, so that's how y'all see me. I'm just Kyle, right? And after a while, it was like, you know what? I'd rather be me than anything else. To
Mhm.
to be honest, I'd rather be me than anything else. I have my bouts with anger just like anyone else. I have my negative thoughts just like anybody else. I try to balance that out with more positive thoughts or just more thoughts about just other than negative things because I used to be a really negative person, especially when it came to myself, you know. But as I got older, I started to get to know myself. I'm more than cerebral palsy. That is just a part of me. You know what I'm saying? Just like you're more than your disability, man. You a cool dude, man. I mean, and you're living life just like anybody else. It's just different from your perspective. But that's not a bad thing at
Yeah.
all. And now you have and now you have people out here like what I wish like when we were growing up, you know how there's like movements and stuff for for disabled people,
Mhm.
rights and stuff like that, right? I'm glad to see that now. I really am. I've seen clothing lines for people like us. You know what I'm saying? I'm wearing one right now, you know? And it just makes me feel so good. But imagine if we had it back when we were growing up.
Uh-huh. I
You
think
know?
it would. I think it would have been very, very inspirational, inspiring.
Yeah.
That's the word I'm looking for. If we did, because I talked about this multiple times, man. I didn't see people when I was growing up, man, who whether they were on television or whether they were on radio, even you may can't see them on radio, but regardless of any form of entertainment, it was, man. You didn't see no one who had a disability like you or was even portrayed in any type of way like you. So it made you feel as though that you were as less as such as
Yeah.
you was less. So it was
Yeah.
like, well, damn, or so man, because I definitely remember, like I said, growing up, I was the only one in my family, who had a disability. So, you know, going to family reunion. And at times I don't know, I felt like you was I could been a burden to other people, or because I
Yeah.
definitely didn't
Yeah.
want to feel that way. Because I know my fiance, we both in a wheelchair, so
Mhm.
we always talk about that. Like if it ain't got if it ain't accessible for us to go, whether it's like the bathroom or
Yeah.
somewhere we can get to, we don't really want to do, because then it's extra stuff, whether it's picking us up or
Mhm.
making other accommodations where it's like, you know, so.
Yeah. I hear you. It's very easy to get into that. Oh, I feel like a burden thing. I remember, like, I've had a few surgeries in my life, and I remember during the recovery process, I would sit sometimes and just wonder to myself, am I a burden on my parents? Right? If I didn't have this disability, because I remember, like, we were never. I don't come from a rich family. I don't even think I come from a middle class family. It's more like you're somewhere you're somewhere in that weird gray area, right? Because both my parents worked multiple jobs, right? Both my parents are also entrepreneurs, and they had me at a very young age. So sometimes I wondered. To myself after a surgery or whatever, looking at the fact that they have to put a hospital bed in the middle of the living room, so I have a place to sleep. You know what I'm saying? To recover for like 3 to 4 months or more, right? Or I sit there and wonder to myself, if I didn't have this, would their life be better? But that was that bout of depression, because
Yeah.
that was that bout of depression. It's not anybody's fault. The thing is, we're looking for somebody to blame. There is nobody. It's nobody's fault. But if we learned more about, just like, okay, just like people get, they get all like, they get all scared or fearful when we talk about people out, from different races and different parts of history, right?
Hmm.
Disabled history is very vast. It's very much, there's so much to learn from people who have differences, whether it be mental or physical or whatever. Now more information is coming out. But back in the day, what did they do to people like us? We would be put in homes immediately,
Hmm.
or we would be treated like less. And even in places like, I'm not a religious person, but churches, like, it's like, y'all listen, okay? I've heard of people who think that having a disability is a curse or something, right? But then I've heard the opposite, where people think, oh, you're disabled, so you must be incredibly special, right? So I'm like, so either I'm a burden or some sort of sign from whatever God, and where's the gray area? Why can't I just be a person? You know, like, what?
Yeah, man.
Why I gotta be either this or that to you? I don't want to be put on no pedestal. I just want to be treated like everyone else. That is it. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? That is it. Yeah, everybody's freaking different. And this is why I'm glad people are studying more about, like, autism and ADHD and Tourette's and all this stuff, because before, what did they say? Oh, it's just the way, that's just behavior. They'll grow out of it. They'll grow out of it.
Hmm.
Or it's not real because I can't see it. Well, what do you want to do? You want to cut open someone's head and look at their brain? Now we have more proof that it's not a made up problem. It's not, I mean, a made up disorder or a made up difference. It's just something you can't see with the naked eye, so you just dismiss it. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But
Hey, man.
it's like that. Like, I know I go everywhere, but think of it like this. So when we were kids, we were told that Pluto was a planet.
Yeah.
Right? We were told that Pluto was a planet. But then around 2005, 2006, they demoted Pluto to a dwarf planet because its gravity was different, and the way that it operated was different than most of the planets that we remember from our solar system, right? But
Hmm.
Pluto was just different. And then you discover other planets that have their own gravitational pull, their own things going on in their atmosphere. We're freaking Pluto. and there's nothing wrong with that. So what? Pluto's smaller, but I bet you people still want to know what's going on.
Yeah,
So,
I get you, man. I definitely get you, especially with the burdens. Because when I was walking, I used to fall a lot, and when I would fall, I
same.
would sprain my ankle or hurt my ankle. So my mother had to leave work and come to the school and pick me up, or it was just so much, man. And I just wanted to do little things, especially on my own. And
Mhm.
definitely, as it got older, man, I started to just realize, look here, man, I'm me. That ain't gonna change. I'm gonna
That
have
ain't
this,
gonna
this
change.
I'm gonna have this disability until it's time to pack it up and head on out of here. And that's just what it is, man. And I started to just believe in myself. Believe in myself. Never been like the biggest religion person or was, but I
Mhm.
just was, like, man, I believed in myself. I was like, man, if you know, put it out there, man, things will come back to you, especially if it's good. So
Yeah.
um people always, had that, talk with me, man. You good guy, man, great guy, man, and I love what you do. So hey, man, as you get older, I think it definitely gets better, man. Definitely feel more inspiring, man. Speaking of that, man, what keeps you motivated? What inspires Kyle?
What inspires me? Okay, first off, I am both I am both inspired by people in history, and I'm also kind of afraid of people at the same time because you never know what we're capable of. Just like anything else in this world, there is no just straight up good and there's no just straight up bad. It all depends on what you choose to do with whatever you have. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So I am inspired. I'm inspired by that. As the older I get, the more I want to learn about history, technology, things that we were not taught of in school. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I want to ask the harder questions. I want to have those conversations that may be uncomfortable because I want to try and figure myself out and figure people out. Why
Mm-hmm.
aren't we having these? Why does it seem like we're having the same arguments we've been having for years? Why? Why does it seem like we're having the same black, white, gray area arguments and no real solutions? You know what I'm saying? What is it that we're trying to learn? You know what I'm saying? That's what I want to know. It's very
Yeah.
much you know, it's very much a what inspires me, everything from music, art, podcasting, hanging out with people like y'all, seeing what makes seeing what makes you tick, watching my nieces and nephew grow up. You know, I am so fortunate to see all this change and be a part of it. You know what I'm saying? And be a part of it. I'm Uncle Kyle. It's funny when I think of it that way.
Hey, man, that's what's up, man. Definitely what's up, man. You talked about a couple of things real fast though before we move on. Technology, man. Technology is definitely like moving so fast, and we are in the year 2024, or maybe not. Who knows? But
Mm.
technology. I remember we were just talking about that last week on Beyond 11:30 with my guy Brian and Charnel and Harley
Yeah, shout out to
about,
them.
yeah, real great conversation about AI, man. Do you think AI, artificial intelligence, definitely is the future, man, and how we are living in the world now?
I've been like my thing was I've been as a sci-fi nerd, I've always been interested in AI and stuff like that.
Okay.
Right. Back in 2017 on my show On the Brain, me and my, members of my family, we had talked about sex dolls with artificial intelligence, right? And
Okay.
we did a whole like hour plus talking about why we would or would not buy one and what the features and stuff would be. right? And that was in 2017. Now you got everything from AI voice matching, music. We have things like Chat GPT. Every time I turn around, there's a new AI prompt, trying to get us to use it for one thing or another. One thing I do know is AI has been around for a long time. It's just the amount of stuff that we're seeing, and AI is not 100% intelligent. You know what I'm saying? Because it can barely spell. Depending on what program you use, it has issues with spelling. And I'm like, okay, so this is what we're afraid of. I'm not saying that there's something that we shouldn't be wary about, but just like any piece of technology, it's going to take some getting used to. When computers first came out and they started, and they started automating different jobs, and people were afraid of that. They were like, oh, this is going to take our jobs. It didn't take their jobs. It created new jobs, right? It created new jobs. Every time a new piece of technology or something that was different from what was the norm before comes out, you either adapt or you don't. You know what I'm saying? You either adapt or you don't. And I know that for years, what have we seen? We've seen things like the Terminator, the Matrix, things of that nature. And they've been telling us for years, this could happen. Yes, it could. Not going to say it's not. You know what I'm saying? But there's a lot of people that are waking up now, and they're realizing that we can't just take all this lying down. What are we, what are we going to do? Computers came out. People people now are coding more than they ever have. That's become more, that's become more of a thing. Cybersecurity has become more of a thing. You can go and get a degree in that, whereas when we were growing up, it was still in its infancy. So with each new piece of technology, we're going to have to learn to adapt. If it becomes the norm, we have to be at that forefront. You know what I'm saying?
Do you feel like, okay, and I get what you're saying, definitely on that though, like, with these AI, with AI, some of them may not know how to spell, but then you get some of these AI where it's like, they got they're stealing, or they actually using, I don't want to say stealing kind of, but it's actual,
They kind of are.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But in order for it to learn, you have to feed it. So what are they feeding it? This is why the AI art controversy was such a and still is a big deal, because now you're wondering, does this count as real art? Because you're just and it's the type of AI we're using. We're using word prompted AI. You know what I'm saying? You have to tell it what what you want, and then it has to search out details, right? So it's very much a it's very much a yes, this could be a problem, and it has become a problem because people are always looking for the easy way. You know what I'm saying? People are looking for the easy way, but like kids are using AI to write their essays, right? So people are wondering, how do we combat that? Well, okay, so let's see how it's, what does the kid know versus what's on the paper? Is the kid actually? I didn't say this. Neil deGrasse Tyson or another scientist had said this too. They were like, okay, so do you know if the kid's actually learning, or are they just telling the computer what to type and they're just turning it in? If you're thinking that they're using AI, which let's face facts, they might be, test them. Test them, like not on the book or anything, just like see what they know. Could it work? Sure. Could they figure out a way to combat it? Sure. Unfortunately, nothing is perfect.
Yeah, you're right. Nothing definitely is perfect, man. And just, with so much definitely going on in the technology world, whether it's AI or, so much is definitely shaping the future that we definitely live in, man. But we're gonna move on here on the show, man. What you into on your free day?
I'm an anime head.
Okay, anime. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
I'm an anime head, and I'm a music head. I'm like that. That's me.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. What type of music?
I
What's
like
your
all types.
playlist like?
You know, I like all types, and I swear new genres keep finding me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Um, I grew up on R&B and hip hop. I grew up on R&B and hip hop. My dad's a DJ. I have DJs in my family,
cool.
so I grew up listening to R&B, a little bit of pop here, some rock, rock and roll. But I grew up on hip hop. That was a lot of my education. You know.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. You got a podcast or anything, or you just do
Yeah.
freelancing and you
Oh
do?
no, I got two podcasts.
Okay.
One is called On the Brain ENT. It's a small network of podcasts where we talk about different facets of nerddom. You know what I'm saying? Everything from anime, movies, comics, things of that nature. And then I have another one that's talking about more on the mental health side of things, and that one's called A for Abled. And both of them will be coming back very soon. So you and I are going to have to definitely schedule, definitely schedule some time, because I want you to be a guest when you have
Hey
that
man,
time.
sounds amazing. Definitely sounds amazing. Well, definitely would love to check them out. And everyone who's watching and listening, definitely go subscribe and check out my guy podcast. The links will be down below. For real. Great show, great vibe. And with my guy Cal, before we wrap it on up, man, we're gonna move on here on the show, and it's time for the 11:30 podcast hacks, guys. All right, Kyle. It's time for the hot seat. It's near the end of the show. Some guests get a little nervous here. don't be though. But I got 5 questions for you, and
Yep.
we're gonna roll with it. You ready?
Yep.
Okay. All right. If you were the president, what would be the first thing you would do?
If I was the president,
Yes.
first off, I would not want to be the president. But ever, I would not. I would never want. I would never want that job.
Never.
Okay, the more I look at, especially democracy as it is today, the president just seems like a puppet for everyone else. You know what I'm saying? So honestly, I would not want to be the president. But if I somehow got to be the president, first off, I buy any kind of bulletproof vest I could, because they ain't gonna. I tell people all the time, I'm not religious and I'm disabled. They're gonna look at me like, oh yeah, we could take him. No problem.
Okay.
But I would try to basically, because I hate the two-party system, and I hate that it always comes down to Democrat, Republican, left or right, blah blah blah. Listen, okay, can we have a meeting? Like everybody on each side, can we have a meeting? You guys got any, like, some ideas that would actually work, that wouldn't involve possibly sacrificing more people? I'm just saying.
Yeah, I get you. Never want to be the president, man. For real, that's a whole lot too much. Okay, if you can go on a vacation, what is your dream vacation? If you can go anywhere in the world.
Oh, I got a list. I've been thinking about this for years. So first, Japan, right? First, Japan. I've been wanting to go to Japan since I was 12. Like I said, I'm an anime head, and I love the culture. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I want to check that out. Bring some family, bring my girlfriend. She loves it too. So that, definitely Japan first. London, right? Always want to check the UK music scene. They got some crazy stuff going on over there. You know what I'm saying? And it's very much a place I would love to check out at least one good time. Paris, because city of love, and I'm a sap. You know what I'm saying? Now I would have said, well, Korea is also another one. South Korea, of course. I'm also into Korean dramas, so that inspired me. And one place I didn't think I would go, that I went to a couple years ago, was Jamaica. So that ended up being on my list.
Okay, that's some cool places, man. Definitely cool places to travel to. Okay, number 3. If you won the lottery right now, what would you do, or what would be one thing that you would either give back or invest in?
Now, see, I've talked about this with family too. So, first thing I'm going to do I'm a little paranoid. So if I win the lotto, I ain't telling anybody. I'm gonna be that guy. Like I'm gonna be that guy that won the lotto and had a mask on while he signed. While he signed it because they needed proof, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put a freaking MF Doom mask on, and y'all just gonna. That's how that's gonna be. What would I invest in? There are a lot of local businesses in my hometown, and I would give back to my city. You know what I'm saying? I would give back to my city. My city gets a bad rep because they say it's boring or it's ghetto or whatever. I would give back to my city. And anybody that needed it, I would make sure that we would be able to, we'd be able to give back to anyone who needed it. You know?
Okay. I can dig that. I can definitely dig that one, man. All right, we're gonna go to the next question. What was the question? If you were dating a woman, and would you rather date a woman who had 3 nipples or 12 toes?
Yes. Yeah.
Sadie, which one? Which one?
3 nipples or 12 toes don't matter.
It don't matter. Oh, both of them.
No, it don't. No, it don't matter. Because here's the thing: who the heck am I to judge? Seriously, who the heck am I to judge? I'm a skinny dude with a lip. Who the heck am I to judge? You know, shoot.
Hey, right on, man.
They still like shit.
Yeah. I hope so. I definitely hope so. Especially
you hope so. Okay.
This time.
three nipples or toes. Okay. Whatever.
Okay. Okay. All right. Last one. If you can, chat with anyone or have anyone on your show, who would it be?
Oh man, I got a lot of celebrities I would love to pick their brain, but a lot of them are voice actors, right? A lot of them were voice actors. So my list would be Rob Paulson, Cree Summer, and Cree from a different world. Yeah, that would definitely be on my list. Let's see, Neil deGrasse Tyson. And there's so many people, but honestly, it would probably be one of them. If they contacted me and said that they wanted to chat, or I got a chance to interview them, I would definitely. And a lot of MCs that I listened to growing up, I would love to pick their brain too.
Okay. Cool. Hey man, look at Kyle, man, it's been amazing, man, having you on. It's been a great time vibing with you and chatting with you, my guy. But before you go, any questions, any shout outs, anything you would like to say?
Shout out to you. First off, thank you so much for having me on the show. And shout out to our podcast colleagues, everybody that we've met, like Brian B. Right, shout out to him. Shout out to everybody in the group chat and the everybody that we've met in the podcast space. So so far, and just keep doing what you're doing, man. This is a really cool, it's a really cool platform. I appreciate it, and just keep moving forward.
Hey man, I appreciate you. I appreciate you for the words. I thank you, and that's what it's been all the way. This what this show is always about, man. Just it always opened up the door for the next individual to come on, man. And share their story or just have great conversations, man. So, and me being in podcasting for the longest time as not the longest, but the time I have, it's been awesome, and cool networking and meeting great like-minded folks, man, like yourself. So I appreciate you, everyone. The links will be down below, so you can go follow Cal on social media and also check out his podcast, catch up on latest episodes before his awesome return. Once again, Cal, man, this has been great having you on. For everyone who's watching, man, sit tight. Got the WTF moment coming up next. You know it. And we're going to wrap up the show. Of course, man, don't move. You're listening and you're watching to the 1130 podcast.
Salute.
TW Wrestle Talk Wednesdays.
That's right. Get with me, Brian B., as well as buzzing with Marlowe's very own Warren Marlowe, the American prodigy. And you see him, your man from the 1130 podcast, Dre on Wheels. That's right. We the commission talking that Wrestle Talk Wednesday nights, 5 p.m. live. Yeah, be there, subscribe, follow, like, share. Get at us. Commission, baby.
We back here on the 1130 podcast. Appreciate everyone sticking with me throughout the short break. Yo, man, Kyle, thank you for coming through here on the show on this week's episode, man. Great time having you on. Great time vibing with you, bro, man. It was really, really dope. Yo, man, the links are down below, so you can definitely go follow Kyle and check out his awesome podcast as well, man. Really great conversation. You know, I had him on Beyond 1130. I just felt like, man, yo, man, this guy, you know, we got a lot in common, man. It would be really awesome bringing him on here on the 1130 podcast show. So shout out to my guy Brian B as well, man. This whole thing of podcasting, it's all about networking, man, and just meeting different people, and which this show definitely provides me with and everyone here, man. So definitely check out my guy Cal, really, for real. But you guys, before the break, I said we gotta wrap it up, man, before we leave on out of here. And before we do, man, one thing I love, man, is wrestling, man. So it's time for the WTF moment of the week, you guys. Yes, WTF moment of the week. And this week's WTF moment is come from wrestling, man. Yo, it was about a month ago or so, right? WWE had this press conference in Las Vegas to promote WrestleMania. And the week prior, everyone was enraged because The Rock was taking Cody Rhodes' spot at WrestleMania. Cody won the Royal Rumble. He goes on to face Roman, right? You know, but Cody gave up his spot. Don't look like that's what he did, but that's what he did. He gave up his spot to The Rock, man. And man, it was like the most disliked segment of all time, man. And you know, that night, at the press conference, and that night, The Rock laid out, you know, some stuff, and how Roman and Rock, his family, and how everything is, you know, is bloodline, you know, this and bloodline that, and you know, the whole tree of the bloodline or whatever. But Cody said, "Yo, man, nah, man, I changed my mind. I'm taking on Roman Reigns at WrestleMania." And you know, some trash talk went on in between. The Rock slapped Cody Rhodes, was a slap heard around the world. But this past week on SmackDown, man, The Rock, man, just been full-fledged in his heel mode into everything he's been doing since returning back to WWE. I hope we get him a little bit longer than, you know, right now, no past WrestleMania. But it's really awesome to see Rock and him, you know, working not only with Roman, but siding himself with the bloodline, and, you know, working with Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. You know, when The Rock came back in 2011, he only worked with, he worked with John Cena, and he did work with, The Miz and Truth a little, but man, like the guys he's working with now are really on this top tier level. So it's amazing. But you know, at the end of the promo, man, a receipt was definitely given. Last week, a receipt was definitely given because Cody Rhodes bitch smacked The Rock, man, right back on SmackDown. And the way it's going and the way everything is anticipating, I'm more excited for the one-on-one match between The Rock and Cody Rhodes, if that ever happens, which I feel like we need that. I mean, the tag team matchup was great. it's cool. Do I agree on it? No, because I mean Roman already wrestling on night two against Cody. Seth is already wrestling on night two as well against Drew. So it's a whole lot of confusion there. But man, the slap heard around the world times two this time. So man, everything is boiling over. Like I said, man, WTF when I saw that right there. And man, they know how to have a cliffhanger where you just something big happened and boom, they ready to go off TV. So that's my WTF moment of the week, man. I kept it short and sweet right now. I know Leg Sweet's WTF. I know my guy Juan Marlo, he was like, yo, man, what the hell was that, man? Yeah. The guy who was staying at the hotel, the Las Vegas resort, and got bit in the nuts, man. Let's be honest, he got bit in the nuts and the balls by a scorpion. So yeah, that's crazy. Nothing that crazy this week though. But yo, that's the WTF moment of the week, man. Cody Rhodes, bitch smacking the Rock, man. There's a whole lot of smacking going on, and SmackDown has definitely been on fire. WWE is itself, man. So, man, we on the road to WrestleMania. Definitely tune in this Saturday, you guys. A new episode of the 11:30 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling. You dig? 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. Tune in for real. Also, thank everyone, man, who tuned in to the season finale and season 2 of Beyond 11:30. From my amazing co-host Brian, Harley, Chanel, and the awesome guests that joined along the season, Helen, Gator, George, everybody, man. It was just even Kyle, who was the guest on this week's episode of the 11:30 podcast. Man, it was just an honor. It was an awesome time. I thank all the kind words for everyone who wondering when the show is coming back, and man, it was like therapy and everything. So I appreciate all of it. So definitely catch up right now on season 2 and season 1 of Beyond 11:30. Season 3 is definitely coming soon, you guys, for real. Man, I'm about to head on out of here, man. It's been a great one, great vibing with you guys. The 11:30 podcast show is definitely back. More guests, awesome guests to come throughout the season. But for now, I'm about to head on out of here, you guys. Yo, shout out to Kyle for coming through here on the show. Yo, for now, it's your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels. Yo, I'm out, man. Peace.
I'm from the city, DC, that's where I'm from. 11:30 podcast, Dre on Wheels, he is the one. Let's get it, yeah. Who with me? Let's get it, yeah. No, with me, yeah. I'm from the city, DC, that's where I'm from. Let's get it. 11:30 podcast, Dre on Wheels, he is the one. He the one, nigga. So let's get it, baby. He the one. With me, so breeze, baby. Let's get it. You with me. Yeah, they gon' hate, but they ain't stopping this. I'ma keep making hits. Dre and Wills, you know it ain't no copying. Was you sitting there on the carpet with us? Yeah, we knew we had some options.